for the guest of honor tonight from District 6, our Congressman Mike Hoffman. I just want to say Congressman has been a great friend of Ethiopia, and it's a testament that he's here today for this fundraising event. Every time that we needed some help, the Congressman is always there. A couple of years ago, when there was a famine in Ethiopia and we were doing a fundraiser, he was the only elected official that came there. And not only did he come there, he wrote a check, personal check, helped us out. And he's been doing a lot of great work for us for human rights in Ethiopia and supporting the constituents here. We've been very fortunate, and I don't know when he rests. He's always working. Just yesterday we were meeting with him talking about Ethiopia in his office, and today he's here. So we're grateful for you, Congressman Mike Hoffman. Without further ado, would you join us, please?
Well, thank you so much, Mame. Every year I come here, you double in size for this event. I don't know where you're going to go next year. It is amazing. I just remember the first one that I went to. It was over at the Evangelical Church, and it was in the lobby or something. And there was just a few of us, and then it grew and it grew, and oh my gosh! And so how extraordinary it is, and thank you for all your efforts. I also want to say our District Attorney, George Malachler, had wanted to be here tonight, but cannot. He's serving in the Army National Guard in addition to his duties as an elected official, and he's deployed right now because of the hurricane, as part of his duties in the National Guard. Otherwise, he would love to be with us tonight. I want to read something that I put to honor Mame Worku and all that she does to help those who are in need in Ethiopia, the elderly, poor. And so I entered this in the Congressional record, and so I want to read it to you very quickly, and then I wanted to award it to Mame. Mame, if you could come up here, please. September 14, 2018, Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize BLR Elder Care on the celebration of its 10th anniversary. BLR Elder Care is a nonprofit organization located in the city of Aurora, Colorado, and is in Colorado's 6th Congressional District, which I have the honor of representing here in the United States House of Representatives. BLR Elder Care seeks to provide a dignified, meaningful life to the homeless elderly population in Ethiopia. It does so by providing basic necessities to elderly Ethiopians who are in need. The generosity of BLR Elder Care serves as a beacon of hope and a source of compassion for the elderly needy in Africa. In recent years, the founder and president of BLR Elder Care, Mame Worku, has also started a program focused on helping African women immigrants here in Colorado. Mame Worku has done so by creating the Women of Africa Alliance for Solutions, WAAS. Through WAAS, she has created an effective platform to advocate for educational opportunities, economic independence, and to build synergy among the diverse African immigrant communities. Mame Worku immigrated to the United States in 1989. She has tirelessly served the African immigrant community here in Colorado and those in need in her native country of Ethiopia. It is supporters of BLR Elder Care. It is my honor to recognize all of her hard work, as well as all of the supporters of BLR Elder Care for their continued assistance for these two remarkable organizations. Thank you, and I yield back.
So can somebody explain to me what this means? Thank you so much, Congressman Mike Kaufman. I don't have words to explain how it feels. Sometimes it feels as though you're running and running and running and just running. And then you keep on running and then you're still running and nothing comes over it. But every now and then to actually pause and see the fruit of your labor would be awesome. And it feels just that. It feels good. It feels great. It feels real. I see him back. I yield now.
So I've been told by staff to explain what the Congressional record is, and that is all of the statements made on the House floor of the United States House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. are placed permanently in a record book. So all of our debates, statements, so these remarks are part of the history of the United States House of Representatives. And will be forever a part of our history. So.
After that, thank you so much. I'm sure I'll be saying a little bit more. I just wanted to say this isn't just me. It's me and a lot of people that have done the work with me. A lot of the praying, a lot of the crying, a lot of the laughing, and a lot of the craziness that goes with it. If you're seeing me here right now, you all know who you are. So congratulations to all of us. Thank you.
I'm so honored to be here, and I was thinking about Mame when she said, I don't know what all this means, and my grandmother's vernacular, it means you did real good, girl. I'm so honored to be here, and I want to begin by honoring Mame and the entire BLR team, the national team and the abroad team for the incredible work that they're doing. And so I would like to once again give them a hand, if that's all right with you all. I also want to honor all of our distinguished guests, the Honorable Congressman Kaufman and the elected officials, the BLR donors, and to all of you. I'm grateful to be with you on this Sunday afternoon to celebrate 10 years of the outstanding work of BLR to the Ethiopian elders. Several years ago, I was watching a BBC documentary. It was the study of Dr. Renee Spitz, who in 1945 began researching the irreparable psychosomatic damage caused when infants were abandoned by their families in the first few years of their life. And they were comparing and contrasting those who were in the custody of loving parents and or caregivers. During his research in 1959, a little girl had been abandoned by her mother, and they brought the little girl to the institution where Dr. Spence was. And he made the decision to make this little girl one of his case studies. And what he was doing, although her parents had left her, the doctors and the nurses continued to feed her and nurture her, love on her. And they were doing so every day. And then they would put the little girl back in her crib and then start the routine all over again. But after a while, the doctor decided to withhold all forms of nurturing and affection from the child, to purposely leave her feeling abandoned and unloved. The doctors and the nurses were no longer to spend time holding her or playing with her. They were instructed to do one thing, to feed her. No hugging, no holding, no smiling. And I'll never forget the face on that little girl as I was watching the documentary. Initially when the doctors and the nurses came in the room after the order was given to feed the little girl, although they couldn't make contact with her, the little girl continued to respond when people entered the room. She cried, she kicked her legs. She would even stand up and lift her hands for someone to pick her up. But much to her dismay, all they would do is give her her food and walk away. Now this went on for several weeks, and although not as aggressive, each day the little girl continued crying, kicking, standing, and reaching. But the day came when something happened in the mind of that little girl. something shifted. They called it the effects of emotional or parental deprivation. She recognized that with all of her crying, all of her kicking, all of her reaching, and all of her standing, although they saw her reaching out, crying, no one was willing to give her what she needed. Imagine the mental stress and torture of a child who has to endure the pain of mentally processing that no one is willing to love her. But eventually the little girl stopped crying. She stopped kicking. She stopped standing. She stopped reaching, and she stopped hoping. When someone walked in the room with the saddest emotion I've ever seen in a human face, she simply looked up and put her head back down against the bars in her crib. A little girl, less than a year old, lost her sense of expectation. She didn't expect anyone to hold her. She didn't expect anyone to love on her. She stopped expecting anyone to pay attention to her or to play with her. Like this little girl, too many people in the world today have lost their hope. They no longer have an expectation that anyone anywhere will care enough about them to step beyond their own life and come and see about it. What would the world look like if we all started reaching from where we are to where others need us to be? How would it look if you and I saw someone living in the gutters and ditches of life with their hands raised in the air crying, "Pick me up, pick me up," and we reached down and lifted them up? Real transformation in our communities, in our cities, and in our country begins if we really give ourselves to others. Stepping out of our comfort zones and into places where we systematically and aggressively think about ways to add value to those who need it most. John Maxwell once said, "One thing I always find on people's list of needs is the desire to feel worthwhile." It's on everybody's list. You see, everyone wants and has a need to be loved, and everybody wants to feel important. No one wants to feel insignificant, but we all know that many do. And whether you realize it or not tonight, you are a powerful person. Why do I say that? I say it because you have been blessed with the ability to add worth and value to another human being. It doesn't matter how young you are or how seasoned you are. If you're breathing and you're in this room today, you have the power to make a difference in somebody else's life. And one day as I was walking out the door, a little lady, a little Caucasian woman, walked up to me. She was about 75 years old with a bag of cassette tapes. I'm dating myself. With a bag of cassette tapes. And she looked me in the eye and she said to me, "Little girl, I don't know your story, but I know that you've been called to do something significant in the world." Now here I was, an unwed mother, with no direction, didn't feel like I was loved, it felt like I was abandoned. I was left in a hospital with my twin brother at birth, raised by my grandmother, couldn't wear anything brand new, had to wait until someone else in the family wore it, then I could wear it. Here I am, someone trying to find my way, and this little woman walks up to me and tells me, "You are somebody." She gave me the bag of tapes. I took the tapes home, and I listened to every one of those tapes, day in and day out, day in and day out. And I would sit by this little desk, and I would write notes and take notes. You see, on those tapes was someone telling me that I had worth and value. That little lady watched me for weeks and weeks and weeks, and something on the inside of her was unwilling to allow me to continue walking around looking like I had no purpose. See, we all have the power to change the trajectory of someone's life. I love this. I don't know what your faith is like. I don't know, what your religion or your denomination is, but I'm going to use an example of Jesus. One of the greatest assets that he had was his ability to make people feel like they were the most important person in the world. He made the marginalized of the world feel important. like they really mattered. Something powerful happens when someone with a broken life comes in contact with someone full of love and compassion. Transformation is the result. Jesus wasn't afraid to touch the leper, to sit with the sinner, to walk with the poor. He understood how important it was to reach out to another life and bring hope and healing in the darkness of their lives. We're here today, celebrating Mame, BLR, and now WAS. I love that. Women of Africa Alliance for Solutions. They recognize that they have a mandate to take what they have, to combine their resources, their portion, if you will, and make life better for countless individuals, the elders of Ethiopia, the women of Ethiopia, the families of Ethiopia. Mame didn't wait for somebody else to do the job, and she didn't pass the baton to anyone else. For the last 10 years, she took the bull by the horns, and she stepped into her purpose to transform lives. One day I was walking and I was looking at a tree, and I realized that the tree had a lot of fruit on it. But then suddenly it dawned on me that that tree is not going to eat the fruit that's hanging from it. And I just stood there looking at the tree. And then I realized that my life is a tree. And that God has designed me in such a way, and you in such a way, that your life is to have low-hanging branches, that individuals who need the fruit that's being produced from your life can receive it. You're a powerful individual. You're here to make a difference. You're here to support someone who is making a difference. When I met Mame in 2016, her vision leaped in my heart because I had just come back from Israel, visiting a senior care facility where Jewish Ethiopians, male and female, were in a senior citizen's home being beautifully taken care of. Beautifully taken care of. They were loved. They were respected. And as a result, hopelessness was gone and light was in their eyes. I remember watching and standing next to them and talking with them. They had jobs in the senior care facility. They had worked it out that they would become viable citizens in the community, not individuals that were just pushed into a senior care center and forgotten about by their families. This is the vision for BLR. I want to close by saying this. Ethiopia today is experiencing powerful days of transformation. So there's never been a more favorable time than today to undergird and support the mission of BLR. It's at a crucial place. The vision for building the first senior care center in, how do you say it, Gojam, Ethiopia, is a big one, but it's not an impossible one. The vision to have ongoing support for the residents of Eden Cottage, an Oasis senior citizen, as well as the home-based elders, is a big one, but it's not an impossible one. The vision and the mission of WAS is a big one, but it's not an impossible one. Nelson Mandela said this: "It always seems impossible until it's done." So I'm asking you as I take my seat to believe in the vision, because all things are possible to the one that believes. To pray for the vision, because every great work begins with someone on their knees. To support the vision, because BLR can't exist without your dollars. And your money goes a long way and helps a whole lot of people, plain and simple. So to Mame and BLR, there's more in you. I know it's been hard. I've talked to Mame when it's been hard. I know times have been lean, but remember, challenges are opportunities. God is with you, and our prayer is that the next 10 years will be years of abundance, grace, and that every desire that you have will be fulfilled, because the Word of God says, the one who refreshes deserves to be refreshed. Job well done. God bless you. I love you.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually really take a moment to say, again, thank you for being here. We have churches, we have so many different people. I can't begin to say who all is here. I'm just so excited. I have coworkers, I have friends, we have so many different people and organizations represented, and for that I'm really excited and I'm really grateful. 10 years. When I first started, I didn't think, honestly, we were going to go through the first year. I was so scared and worried. What did I do? What have I touched? It was Deacon Yosef that told me, Mame, you picked up this cross, there is no putting it down. Oh boy, is he right. 10 years later, I'm still here. So once again, I want to recognize the people that made the difference, that made it possible for us to celebrate 10 years. 10 years, yeah, it went so fast, but it wasn't easy. 10 years, you just don't run in one breath. It takes a lot. So I'm going to tell you, the community members, the businesses that have made a difference for us to actually be able to get where we're at today. I'm going to begin from, obviously, my own family. My children, my husband, family, to support me, to go through this whole, roller coaster. Takes time, tiredness, being cranky, and to actually carry that with me. I'm so appreciative of that. So I want to say in public, thank you. Thank you to my husband, Nabiyu. Thank you to Galila and Fagan. Galila has stepped in and has become really a partner with me to help with BLR, and I'm so grateful and proud of her. I also want to say thank you to my church. I know Pastor Indashao is not here today because he also had another engagement. But every time I came close to being so faint-hearted, I would sit at church on a Sunday and there he is teaching something that just picks me right up and gets me going again. Every Sunday I feel like I want to give up. He comes up and he says something and I'm like, okay, I can go again. For that I'm grateful. I'm really, really, really grateful that I have a church that I could go to and feel like I'm growing, I'm being molded, I'm being challenged. You walk away with those teachings. If you don't believe me, come on a Sunday. The community businesses, the small businesses, when we first started BLR, we started supporting the elders by selling cookies, dabokolo. Initially, there were like 10 of us making 25 pounds of cookies, dabokolo, in one shot, in one day. It was a lot of dough. It really was a lot of dough to cut up and make cookies. And for those 10 ladies, I'm really grateful. I'm indebted to them because if it wasn't for those little cookies, I don't know that we would be here today. We've learned a lot from it. We will continue to sell cookies, but that's not the only thing we do right now. I just want to say thank you to those individuals that helped me kick this thing off. There were some businesses that also supported us. Sunshine Hair Salon, Mabit, was the very first one that stepped up to open up her door and say, bring the cookies, Mom. You know, what do you think people are going to do here when they're doing their hair? They're bored, they got nothing to do. We're going to sell it. I'm really grateful for that. Magananya is another place that always supported us. Nile, the Ethiopian restaurant, Chuchu's hair place, anywhere and everywhere I do business with. Honestly, they did not give me the cold shoulder. They didn't say no. Our cookies were called Nuts So Nuts. I'll tell you some other time why I named it Nuts So Nuts, because I feel like I am so nuts to do this. But it's not so nuts, is it? No, it isn't. Somebody got it over there. I think you know what an means. Okay. The community in general, for me to be in front of people, every time I walked up to somebody to sell a ticket, every time people saw me with a piece of paper, they were like, there she goes again. I'm like, yeah, I'm coming again. Because it's either some fundraising, it's a quarterly thing, it's meal for cause, you name it, we did it all. To be able to sit here today in such a beautiful place and to celebrate 10 years, we've done it all. It's not just me, everybody that was behind me, that is still behind me, together we made it. So as I was preparing for today and the 10th year anniversary, I wondered what I was going to say, like, wow, look back, 10 years, what do you say about that? As I was preparing, though, I was thinking, and the way it came out of me was time. Time. What happened with time? A lot of us, a lot of times say, I don't have time. But time is given, time is free. Time does not cost anything except it will cost you. There is time for everything. So I'm going to do something, because this is going to be a little bit interactive, and I'm going to make sure that you guys are not falling asleep on me. I'm going to ask you questions and you're going to respond. Is that okay? Alright. So when I say 1, 2, 3, there's time for everything, you repeat to me 1, 2, 3. If I repeat, there is time for everything, you say 1, 2, 3, 1. Got it? So when I say there is time for everything, if I say 1, 2, 3, you say 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, there's time for everything. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. There is time for everything in the season, for every activity under heavens. A time to be born, a time to die. A time to plant and time to uproot. A time to tear down, a time to build. A time to weep and time to laugh. A time to mourn, time to dance. Time to scatter stones and time to gather them. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. There's time for everything. You guys are good. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. Time to search and time to give. Time to keep and time to throw away. Time to tear and time to mend. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. There's time for everything. A time to be silent, a time to speak, time to love and time to hate. A time for war and time for peace. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. There is time for everything. I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it and nothing can be taken from it. I found this scripture in Ecclesiastes 3, 1 to 15. I didn't make it up. Indeed, now I made it up. There is time for everything, and time will tell. So I'm about to tell you what time is telling today, the last 10 years. Today, as we commemorate the last 10 years, reminiscing the challenges turned opportunity, trial and triumph that taught us humility and granted us strength to press on and not lose heart. Allow me to reveal the contrast of time. Time is God's precious gift. Although it seems as though we have it in abundance, it's the most elusive. Time can never be stored and can be saved for later. It must be used in the present, in the now. Time is given, granted, without a price, but lost time is devastating to one's dream. Time is given freely, but it could cost you dearly. It is the perfect cliche, but time does not stand still and wait. One must be alert, willing, and ready to make the most of it. Make time count. Where one spends the most time usually tells what one values the most. It is best to control time than to be controlled by it. Trying to catch up with the lost time is like chasing after wind. Investing time with purpose is golden treasure. It never loses its value, but rather leads to wisdom. Time spent wisely will bring you things, friends, good times, success, and ways to fulfill your desire. Undoubtedly, time spent with God and His own purpose will bring you peace, contentment, and it will ground you soundly. Seize time. Make use of each precious minute, as there will not be two identical moments alike. So there is time for everything, and when you are granted with time, what do you do with it? this is what I've learned the last 10 years. Trust more and doubt less. Say yes often and don't hold out. Dream bigger, aim higher. Choose love and refuse hate. Laugh harder, it's okay to even cry. Be grateful and remain content. Work harder and never give up. Pray more and forget not. Be wiser with words and give consideration to actions or inactions. Forgive others and self. Trust more and lean not on your own understanding. See the good in all and learn to be the patient. Remain optimistic and encourage others. Give more and take less. Most of all, remain to be yourself. So what does time mean for BLR? Picture this. A tale of passion, a compassion, and determination. For every dream, there was hope. Behind true friends, there was courage. Behind hard work, there are two homes. Behind every dollar, there were sacrifices. Behind the vision, there is compassion. For determination, there is a majestic land waiting for us to build on it a precious home. Behind the passion were the few who gave until it hurt. Behind every prayer, there was underlining love. For every challenge, there was humility. For every hurt, there was healing. Around the fear, there was protection. For every tear, there was reward. For every loss, there was gain. For every no that was told, there was a new chapter to unfold. For every yes, a life was saved. For every burden, there was strength. From every story, a lesson was learned. For faith, there was greatness. For loneliness, there was comforting encounters. For all the waiting, granted was patience. Sleepless nights, the mornings so bright. For every taste, there was purification. For the naysayers, greater their loss. For each minute in the fire, there was a golden opportunity. For every doubt, there was conviction and renewed devotion. For every unanswered question, there is prayer. For every blow, there was peace and endurance to withstand it. For every word spoken against and meant to tear up, there was the true utterance of the Word of God that mended the shattered heart. Thank you for His unfailing word. Most of all, for every year there was grace. Whatever is has already been, and what will be has been before, and God will call the past to account. I'm going to pause here and repeat this because I want you to hear me say this. Whatever is has already been, and what will be has been before, and God will call the past to account. If time was to give an account for the past, present, and the future, then it's time to put forth all that is learned. It is time to cash in what is earned. Time to fuel passion, to ignite compassion. Time to trust in God and invest in the world. Time to heal and bankrupt evil. Such is time when it matters. The past is gone, it is now what counts. 1, 2, 3. You're not asleep yet. You must start from 1 before you get to 10. If you have 1, you are bound to get to 10. Start with 1 and you have to go through 2, and then you have to endure 3, and then you're challenged by 4. 5 and 6 will teach you grace, seasoned by 7, optimistic by 8, and 9. 10 is an accomplishment. With 11, we cut the ribbon with the opening of the new home. Thank you. We've been holding on to the small little light called BLR for 10 years. Very few people have been walking around, have been carrying this light, this passion, this compassion to do the work. I've been carrying it, they've been part of it, and they have carried it. I would like to pass the baton to somebody. I would like to ask somebody to help us carry this light. I will continue to carry this light, but I would like to share it with someone. So based on what we have said this evening, based on what you've heard, based on what you've seen, if something is tugging on your heart, if you're thinking, you know what, I could see myself being part of this compassionate work, I could see being part of this amazing work, I can make a difference, I could do something, even if it means carrying the light, telling others what we try to do, making people aware of the need, anything at all. Pray, help with events, in any way you can partner with us. I would like to ask somebody to come and take a light for one of us. Please don't make us wait. Anybody. I want to share this light for somebody to carry it further so that we will go another 10 years. Awesome. Thank you. You get to stay here now. Yeah. Awesome. Look at that. We have 10 candles, by the way, so 10 candles. We did this last year in Washington, D.C. We have more than 10. Awesome. Let's thank you. Take a candle. Oh, Leishan, you're not ready yet. We have more candles. I'm going to go grab some more. Anyone who could carry this candle, even if it means doing anything, just sending the message out to somebody. Help us carry this vision for another year, for another 2. If you would like to serve on a board, if you want to go to Ethiopia and volunteer, if you want to do anything at all, come take a light and help BLR continue to light. Yes. Yes. Awesome. Good. Candles are about to go. Awesome. Thank you. How many do we have? 3. Oh, we got 2 more. Awesome. So those people that are taking the lights, come over here, stand over here, because we want to be empty-handed now. We have, how many left? 2. Awesome. 4. Oh, okay. How come we don't have any guys? Oh, there's one. The brave one. Oh, I see one coming. And the video guy wants some. Awesome. There you go. Thank you so much. We've got 3 more. 2 more to go. I see hands back there. You can come up here so we can eat the cake. How many do we have? 2. You know, here's the thing. Choki, come. Awesome. They both are wearing red. The reason why I do this is because honestly, I have seen a lot of people stand with me, all around me and behind me in sharing this vision. You brave souls, thank you so much. You are now part of this mission, this vision. You are now part of this group right here, BLR, and everybody else. And you will be standing with us when we open that home. For that, I'm so grateful. Whatever you do, don't let this vision, don't let this passion be put out. That's the trick. You're going to take this home. Obviously, you're going to put out the light. But it's going to be a reminder to you why you did what you just did. It does not cost you a lot. It does not take a lot. It just takes a heart. And I think that's what you just did. You gave your heart, and for that, I thank you. I'm so glad that you joined us. You joined your hearts, not just your hands and not your pockets. But joining your hearts means a lot to me, so I so appreciate that, and I'm so grateful, and thank you. Wow, look at that. I've got some more here. So you see how this works? This is how we do more. If I was the only one to carry this, I don't think this would happen, right? So it takes all of us to be able to do this, and I'm so grateful. So what we're gonna do is all of us together, right over here, gonna cut the cake, and then we're going to celebrate.